as I go through Famidaily, we're going to encounter a lot of game series that gained no traction outside of Japan but were absolutely huge in that country. Ninja Jajamaru-kun is easily the biggest of those on the Famicom. We'll be seeing 5 Jajamaru-kun games before this is over, and none of them were released in the US. Technically, we could count Ninja-kun as the 6th. This Jajamaru-kun game was released as a sequel to it, even though Ninja-kun was only released 6 months before. But Jajamaru-kun was an attempt to get around UPL's ownership of Ninja-kun, and they dropped the references to him in later games. What about the game that launched this franchise? It's actually a really solid arcade-style action game. It's also extremely similar to Ninja-kun. The plot of the game is that the evil Namazu Tayu has kidnapped Princess Sakura, and young ninja Jajamaru-kun must fight through his army of yokai to go rescue her. What this means is that on every stage, 8 yokai are released, and you have to defeat all of them in order to continue. On all but the very first stage, there will be one boss enemy that's a bit tougher than the rest. You'll progress through 3 stages like this, and then the boss enemy becomes the standard enemy, and you get a new boss enemy. So that's exactly like Ninja-kun. You knock out the yokai by throwing shuriken into them. After the defeated yokai vanishes from the screen, a spirit appears where they fell. You can collect the spirit for some extra points. One quirk of the game that you may notice, those points are written in Japanese. Kind of. They just switch the digits over to kanji. You can stun the yokai by jumping on top of them, but they can do the same to you. It's only their attacks that kill you, so again, just like Ninja-kun. To get between tiers in each stage, you'll need to smash open those bricks by jumping into them. And sometimes items will appear in those gaps. These coins are just worth some extra points. You'll want to avoid jumping into these bombs. This doll grants you an extra life. And then there are 4 types of power-ups. There's this potion that makes you invisible. You can run straight through enemies and their attacks, but you'll still need to attack to hurt them. This orb makes you move faster, and it's pretty good for running up behind enemies and getting them in the back. Unfortunately, the orb also has the side effect of making the already jerky scrolling even more jerky. The shuriken extends the reach of your own attacks. Finally, the minecart lets you plow through enemies, knocking them out with that. You're invincible while you're in the minecart, too. Naturally, all of these power-ups only last a short time. The real reason to collect the power-ups, though, is that once you collect 3 different types of power-ups, the giant frog Gamapakun appears, and Jajamaru-kun can ride on his back and gobble up all the enemies on the stage. Gamapakun would become the series' iconic mascot. And honestly, stomping around the stage on a giant frog and eating all the enemies is a lot of fun. If there's one major problem with the gameplay in Ninja Jajamaru-kun, it's that the random distribution of power-ups feels kind of low. You'll have to really work at it if you want to see Gamapakun. What I wound up doing was leaving one of the weaker enemies alive, and then smashing out as many of the brick floors as I could to look for other power-ups. However, if you take too long on a stage, Namazu Tayu will start throwing bombs down at you, and if you linger too long in one spot, a fireball will appear and chase you. There's one more thing you can collect in the game. Princess Sakura tosses out her namesake cherry blossoms from time to time. If you collect 3 of those, and clear a stage, then you go to a bonus stage where you get a chance to take out Namazu Tayu and reunite with Princess Sakura. He'll toss fireballs down while you throw your shuriken up. These stages tend to be either over in an instant or really prolonged battles. If you hit Namazu, then the next time you come to the bonus stage, you'll face 2 of him. That number increases every time up to 8. The game starts looping after level 21, but you'll have to be pretty good to be able to get that far. Obviously, as influential as Jajamaru-kun is, it's been re-released a lot. Two of the more notable ones is that it got ported to the arcade as a versus system game, and in 2019, the entire series was ported to the Switch, along with a brand new 8-bit style game just for that release. So I find Ninja Jajamaru-kun to be a really solid game. We're kind of coming to the end of the era where simple arcade style games like this are really viable on the Famicom, and this is one of the better ones. It's a challenge, but not outrageously challenging. And honestly, I think it's my favorite of the Jajamaru-kun series.